Hi everyone, welcome to Quotes of the Day with Bob and Autumn. I'm Autumn.
And I'm Bob.
And today we have a quote from Ryan Holiday. And he says this: "We may claw and fight and work to own things, but those things can be taken away in a second. The same goes for other things that we like to think are ours, but are equally precarious: our status, our physical health, or strength, our relationships. How can these really be ours if something other than us, fate, bad luck, death, and so on, can dispossess us of them without notice?" From Ryan Holiday.
And you know, this quote, I love this quote. Ryan Holiday is famous for having caused a Stoic revival here in the last 10 years, and I really admire him for that. And I love the Stoics, and this is a foundational Stoic principle of minimalism and extremely simple living. And this particular quote always makes me think of a story that Victor Frankl tells. Victor Frankl was a well-known Jewish psychologist before World War II. And during World War II, he and his family were taken and put in the prison camps, and he spent some time in Auschwitz and some of the other really horrible places. And he tells the story of one of the people in the camp that he knew. And this man that he knew, his friend, was a very famous and well-known man in his community. He was Jewish, they were all Jewish. And he was standing in front of a German SS officer, and the SS officer had this big, thick file on him, and he's going through it, and he says, "So you graduated with honors with a PhD, and yes, I did that, and you have established this business and became a multimillionaire. Yes, I did that, and you've donated millions to other people, and yes, I did that." And so he's just going down this list of all these amazing accomplishments this guy has, and the officer comes to the end, and he says, "So that's it, that's everything." And the man has, he's very proud, and he should have been. His accomplishments, he's an older man, and his accomplishments in life were just amazing. He was really an astonishing guy. And the SS officer picks up the whole stack, and he throws it in the trash, and he says, "Good, now you are nothing." And they marched him from there into the camps, I think it was the ghetto, and then they put all of them in cattle cars. So this highly accomplished man was stuffed into a cattle car with all the other Jews of his community. And they were taken for days across the country to Auschwitz or one of the other camps. And in this car, they were so crammed in that they couldn't sit. They had to stand, all of them, if there were 100 or 200 of them in this car. And there were no bathroom facilities. There was no food. There was no water. And so they all pooped and peed in their pants. And that's what every one of them did, because a days-long trip, that's just going to be the way it works. And so this man who was this highly accomplished, had this beautiful home and all this wealth, was dumped into this cattle car, taken to Auschwitz. Victor Frankl knew him, and he died in the camp. And so I think of that story, and I think often that all that I love so much can be taken from me just like that. And Victor Frankl went on to write a book called Man's Search for Meaning, about how the most important thing, the only important thing in life, is who you are on the inside. And it has nothing at all whatsoever to do with us on the outside of you. And I just love that story, and I try to live my life by it.
That story is so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
well,
like...
there were 6 million of those stories.
Oh, I know. Gosh, it's so tragic. You can't tell because I have sunglasses, but that brought tears to my eyes. And yet it is such a powerful story that demonstrates this point, right? That all these things that we can put so much time and energy and attention and money into, they can be gone, like you said, just in a second. As you were sharing that, I reflected on a story that is in the AA Blue Big Book about a doctor who had alcoholism, and he ended up finding his sponsor and his salvation in somebody who I believe was homeless. Yeah, there was a major class disparity. There was a major sort of just difference of disparity in social status and monetary status. And there was this incredible moment of humility where the doctor just realized he needed all of the wisdom of the man who by societal standards was at the bottom of the barrel, and yet he had the wisdom to help the doctor get sober. We essentially own nothing. That's what really came to my mind with Ryan Holiday's quotes here. We don't own our status. We even don't own our physical bodies. And now I want to be careful in saying that because we certainly have a right to autonomy with bodily autonomy and everything. But we don't take anything with us. No physical possession, including our own bodies. And I think that reminder, for me, it gives me a great perspective.
The things of the heart are where our time and our attention should be devoted to. Our relationships with our family and with our friends, and how we treat them and how we treat everyone we come into contact with. So that's the important thing. And we get so deceived into this thinking that these other things, wealth and power and possessions and pride of who I am, those things become so important, and our heart is so fixated on them that the things that will last us forever and will make our lives truly amazing, they get skipped over.
Well, and what I love about minimalism is we get to choose. We get to choose where we place our attention. We might automatically, sort of because of our animal bodies, seek certain things, but the blessing of being human is that we get to say, wait a second, does that really matter?
No one here is saying that things are bad or having things is bad. That's not the point for any of them. The point is to choose what's truly invaluable and make them first, and then add the other things. Minimalism is finding what's truly valuable and important to you and putting all your devotion in it, and then adding the other things, because you got to have all those other things equally.
All right, folks, we hope you got something out of this quote of the day. If you did, let us know your thoughts below. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and tell your family and friends that we have this quote of the day channel where we share a quote every single day, 365 days a year. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
For deeper dives into psychology and philosophy, check out our YouTube channel, The Examine Life Daily, and check out our nomadic YouTube channels. Bob is at Cheap RV Living, Autumn is at Autumn and Chloe, and our editor Robert is at Frontier Van Life.